Hello Sagittarius, this is your reading for 2018. This will be a 21 card spread. So if you'll give me just a few more seconds, I'll cut the cards. I have the Tower, I have Justice, I have Temperance, I have the Hermit, I have a Two of Pentacles, I have a King of Pentacles, and then this is a Ten of Pentacles. I have to say that's pretty, I don't know what to say. This kind of just takes you by surprise here with the four major arcana and then all of these pentacles. Okay, big changes in the material world. The next row, I have a Queen of Swords. I have the Empress. I have a Knight of Pentacles reversed. I have a Page of Swords. I have a Five of Swords. I have an Eight of Swords. And then I have a Knight of Wands. Interesting. Last row. The Wheel of the Year. I have the Moon in reverse. I have the High Priest. I have a Ten of Cups. I have a Three of Swords. I have an Eight of Pentacles. And then I have the Chariot. So very interesting here. Pentacles coming on like gangbusters here in your first row. So here's how I'm reading the cards. There's not really a past, present, or future. This is all 2018. So I begin here with the Tower at the beginning of the year, moving forward row through row, and then I end up here at the end of the year with the Chariot. Also, the columns here are all significant. This first column here, this addresses your home. This second column applies directly to you. This third column applies to the people surrounding you, your friends and family. This fourth column is your yes or no. Your fifth column is the unexpected. Your sixth column is the expected. And then this seventh column is what's going to happen for sure. This is your for sure column, this last one. Okay, so really, your first row here, starting with the beginning of the year, It's sort of like gangbusters. You just explode. Big, big changes. And I think some of you, especially since the Tower is your first card, the card of changes and transitions, that is the card of drastic changes. Okay. And, you know, out with the old, in with the new, for the traditional New Year. This is not the astrological New Year. That begins in March with Pisces. But you have 4 major arcana cards in a row. So lots of rebuilding here. You go from chaos with the Tower, then justice, then temperance, then the hermit. And then you have these 3 pentacles here. A rearranging of your material life. Maybe some of you are moving to a better place, moving to a new house, moving to a new job. Whenever we get a king, we have ruling, we have taking control. So let me just say that. So many major arcana cards in your spread. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we have the Empress all by herself. But she is still very relevant, especially when she's next to that Queen of Swords. She's the Queen of Wisdom. The heart knocks life. She's picked herself up and learned to move forward. Although it's quite possible some of these swords, you have 4 swords in this row. This might be about relationships with a particular air sign as well. So interestingly enough, you've got quite a bit of swords energy, a lot of thinking and decision making and discussion here. A Queen of Swords, then a Page, then a 5 of Swords, 8 of Swords, and then a 3 of Swords here. But like I said, 4 major arcana here, then a Queen, and then the Empress here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 more major arcana cards here. So you have like 9 major arcana cards, which are almost half of the 21 cards that you have in this spread. So this is going to be quite a transformation, a year of transformation for you, Sagittarius. And I also want to point out, and it's almost as if the Oracle is definitely making sure you know that this message is for you, because you have this lonely card with a wand, the Knight of Wands. And do you know that the Knight of Wands is associated with Sagittarius? This is the significator, the card for Sagittarius. And so it's interesting that it's right here in the 7th column here. Somewhere around the middle of the year, you are using your natural ability, this element of fire, to get things done. Nothing can get in your way, Sagittarius. You might be a little bossy, but this is definitely going to be your year of making things happen. That's the theme I'm seeing for you. So yes, you do have some swords energy and the wands, and then the pentacles. Rearrangement of your life. Maybe some of you, as I've said, are moving. More independence. Especially if, you know, you're starting this new year, as far as the relationship issues some of you have, especially if you're still starting off single and you're not necessarily spending New Year with anyone. It feels as if some of you are getting your lives together, putting love on the back burner. But it certainly doesn't mean that it's not going to come for you. Because I pointed out pentacles here. You have an 8 of Pentacles here. Getting to work, having a project. And then the cups. I haven't forgotten the cups. You have 1 soul cup here. And the nice thing about it is that it's in the row of your yes or no. After these big changes early in the year, as you head near the end of the year, you get a Ten of Cups, the happily ever after, the home life. And it's nice that you also have that Ten of Pentacles here. You know, I think your home, where you live, your partner, your families, those are going to be very important for you, especially if you've had to go through a lot of shakeups and go through a lot of changes here, especially with that Justice card with the legal issues. So, like I said, Sagittarius, you're definitely going to be going through transformations and transitions and, you know, really deciding what it is that you want in your life. I kind of see some of you who've been in home situations. Home seems to keep coming up to me as I look at your cards, but I do feel that some of you are like, I'm ready to shift, you know, sort of distance myself from people who are not necessarily looking out for me. And I'm looking at that Knight of Pentacles reversed here. A little unhappiness with career. There can definitely be some career changes for some of you. You know, I feel like the status quo is no longer going to be, you are no longer going to be happy with the status quo. You are no longer going to be happy playing it safe. You're going to start thinking about your life in different ways here, and usually the Tower has a way of changing perspectives. Once you go through a drastic change, once you have to start all over, you kind of look back and like, what could I have done differently? What is it that I want to do differently? So, interestingly enough, with this Knight of Wands, Knights are very aggressive. They move, they take action, they take the initiative. And so, definitely looking at this major force of Arcana cards for you, Sagittarius. I think a lot of that power that's coming through from the major arcana is because some of you have decided 2018 is going to be different. Okay, so making my way through these major arcana cards. Justice, some of you might be tying up and resolving some legal issues. And then the peace and the calm and the serenity of Temperance comes. And with Temperance comes the Hermit. So some of this fire will cool down. Some of you might be hibernating emotionally and just like, okay, let me look at how I'm going to rebuild. Let me get it together here. Very busy here with that Two of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles takes over. Once again, career and finances. I get the feeling some of you might actually be transitioning to new jobs. You're growing out of your jobs and you're looking for something bigger and better. I also get the feeling that some of you are going to be making big progress in school. And new horizons are opening up. New opportunities are opening up. So that's when we come into this Ten of Pentacles here. Strong, stable family, home life, and finances. Well, for some of you, this could actually mean, like I said, some of you, it could mean a new home. For some of you, it could be addressing financial issues in the home, getting your finances together. Busy. Some of you could be working 2 jobs. Some of you could be very busy starting your own business. But these 3 pentacles here in the first row, they look real good together. And, you know, I feel like a lot of you are going to have a wonderful time of prosperity heading into the spring. Okay. So, as we get here to this second row, once again, a little cluster. You had a cluster of pentacles here. Now you have a cluster of swords. Page of Swords, Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is the card of winning and losing, dealing with defeat. And then Eight of Swords is the card of confusion. Now I'm reading this second row in this way because I noticed that this cluster of swords comes up after this Knight of Pentacles is reversed. Maybe an offer that's gone wrong, maybe issues at the job. And I think it's interesting where this Knight of Pentacles is reversed, it's acting up. Even in a relationship, it can mean that some of you who might start dating earlier on in the year, issues with dating and making a relationship work might be an issue. So I'm noticing this because you have these clusters of swords between that Knight of Pentacles reversed, but then your Knight of Wands comes along, Sagittarius, and it's almost like I'm going to get this together here. The Page of Swords, messages of truth, communication, delays, dealing with a setback here with the Five of Swords, and then confusion. And then your element, your fire and your passion comes back, and you're like, I'm not dealing with this BS. I'm resolving it right now. So that's why I found this other part of the second row interesting. Now remember what I said about the Queen of Swords, especially since she's next to the Empress. The Empress could very well be a signal of stronger romantic energy coming for some of you Sagittarians at the end of spring heading into summer. As you know, the Empress is also a mother figure, fertility, giving birth, children, issues of motherhood and family. But also the Empress is a very sexual, very seductive energy as well. You know, falling in love. It's usually a female, a woman who is in a relationship. She's having, her relationship issues are going pretty well. If the Empress was reversed, there might be issues for some of you with relationships. But the Empress brings fertility and love and attraction. And the fact that it's next to this Knight of Pentacles and the wisdom of the Queen of Swords, who's had those hard knocks, who's learned from her mistakes, who's dealt with the fallout from the tower right above her. I feel like some of you, you know, as you head into summer and some relationship issues start to come up, you know, hence this Knight of Pentacles reversed. You know, I feel like this is a little bit, these swords are coming up, bringing a little bit of disagreement and chaos. But as I said, you're going to pull everything together. Once again, Sagittarians, you have zero tolerance for the BS. And you will trust yourself first before you trust anyone else. So, yeah. Some love issues being ironed out here, giving someone a chance, you know, someone who is sort of falling back and you're like, you know, what's it going to be? Are you really going to be committed or not? Because I can do fine all by myself. That's some of the issues that I think might be coming up here with this Empress next to a Knight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so as we head into this last row, more major arcana cards. And once again, they almost seem to come, you have three major arcana cards. Once again, revision and big changes, because then you have this Wheel of the Year. Okay, now this Wheel of the Year, it is about natural changes in life, things that, you know, changes just like the seasons. You have no control over it. But it also means a change in luck. And I feel like this is a change of luck for the better, considering all the turbulence that you had to go through here in this second row. You know, you're like, oh, okay. You know, am I going to get there? Am I going to have everything in place? And I feel that you will. This moon here brings anxiety. It brings a little bit of overcautiousness here. Once bitten, twice shy is what I'm thinking. This is reversed. So there might be a little bit of drama coming with this moon. I feel that some of you in your quest to get away from the status quo and to do things differently, I kind of feel like some of you who are dealing with these shifts and changes in relationships, people are not as close as they used to be. I feel like some of the turbulence of these swords might have a lot to do with disagreements and realizing that you're not going to be able to see eye to eye with your loved ones the way you used to. And so it's interesting that you have this shifting. You know, people change, people grow apart. The moon will bring a little bit of fears, you know, what happens next. And that's when the Hierophant comes in as reassurance, because I feel that all of those changes and shifts, especially that you went through here at the beginning of the year, are happening for a reason. I feel that the High Priest brings this mediation and resolution here. And I think it's interesting how this Ten of Cups, it actually follows the High Priest, this happily ever after, happy home, finding your true happiness within all the chaos. You and this person being able to, you know, start over again. So it's interesting that this Three of Swords comes along, and perhaps there are some old wounds that you're finally addressing, some past pain that you're finally able to put behind you. And I think that's a positive thing. I'm not necessarily seeing it as you getting hurt. I do think it's interesting how this Ten of Cups is followed by this Three of Swords. And it's almost as if, you know, because sometimes the Ten of Cups is associated with marriage and happiness, but there seems to be some residual hurt, a little bit of pain, but there's also healing here. So I feel that in a lot of your personal lives and in relationships, making relationships work. I think some of you in the summer might be having, might be discovering new relationships, and then by the end of the year, you're actually trying to work those relationships out, work through the fears, work through the insecurities here, and get yourselves to a good place. Because then what happens is you get this Eight of Pentacles again. Eight of Pentacles are all about working on a project, working for success, working for completion. So on the relationship tip, this is a good thing because it means being committed and devoted and determined. On the career issue, if some of you have been making transitions to new jobs in 2018, it means that those new opportunities you were looking for in the beginning of the year, and maybe you did have hiccups in the middle, but I think that you're going to find your sweet spot as far as career and finances by the time we get to this Eight of Pentacles here, close to the end. And then finally, we have the Chariot. And of course, the Chariot harnesses the two forces here, the conscious and the subconscious, but also two people working together as well. But it can, I feel like it's more of your determination, Sagittarius. I feel like it's more of you ironing out all the issues, personal and financial and anything related to family, and you're deciding I'm going to go ahead and run with it. You know, nothing's going to stop me. So, yeah, very interesting, but I feel your strength and your determination throughout, Sagittarius. I feel you starting the year with a mindset that things are going to be different and that you're going to be open to anything and everything um, that the universe has to offer you in 2018. Now, the columns, I've just done the rows. The columns are also very significant here. So when we get here to this first column, remember what I said, this addresses your home. And so I get the feeling some of you could actually be having a little bit of a blow up with an air sign. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but in your home life you have the Tower, which is a drastic change. Then you have this Queen of Swords, and then you have the Wheel of the Year or the Wheel of Fortune, which is a little bit more subtle of a change, nothing drastic. But I think that in your home life, there might be a big blow up or something drastic where you're like, wow, I have to, you know, there's a crisis and we have to solve it immediately. And perhaps this Queen of Swords for some of you is someone that you really have to work things out. Making a decision together, making a decision for a new house or getting married. But things will never be the same, because when this Wheel of the Year comes along, it means like that shift, it's happened. It's a change that you're not going to be able to control. You just have to go with the flow here and accept what is. Acceptance is a big part of the Wheel of the Year. It's not just about good luck or bad luck. It's about the decisions that you've made, and you know, life naturally evolves from the decisions we make every day, and those decisions are like dominoes and they affect our future. Okay, but sometimes people grow apart. We're ready for something new, our attitudes shift, and you know, it's just change that no one ever stays the same. You know, people are getting older all the time, and just basically with time, people can't help but change, or they can try to stay the same, but there are still changes in their life that they have to accept and they have to grow. So the second row, Sagittarius, applies directly to you, and you've got some nothing but major arcana here. And you go from Justice, which is about doing the right thing, Justice, which is about fairness and balance. But I feel for you, it's more about the fairness, doing the right thing, someone not lying to you, being able to trust. And then we come here to the Empress, and the Empress is the diva, and she's adored and she's loved. And I feel like a lot of you are going to harness that power of everyone is under your spell. You're going to be able to influence people. But also for a lot of you, as I said, very strong romantic overtones here, coming here with the Empress, coming in with the Empress. Falling in love, someone falling in love with you. And then this Moon in reverse, all of a sudden we get a lot of panic and anxiety. But you're not going to show it, of course. You're going to keep your confidence. But I feel that Sagittarius, falling in love can always be a crazy scary thing for some of you. And you like being in control. You like you like having security, knowing that things will be the same the next day. You don't like major shakeups in your life. You want excitement, but when you're not the one in control, when this is you putting yourself out there, admitting you're wrong sometimes, and having to really trust someone else, yeah, I think that's when the moon is in reverse and we're getting a lot of fears and anxieties about the big changes and shifts in our lives and falling in love and giving things another chance. Okay. And sometimes you can't help it. But this card in your second column, the column that belongs to you, it might actually just be about being on guard and not letting your heart get stomped over or being a doorstep. Okay, now this third row, this third column here, this is the energy surrounding your friends and family, influences that you have on your friends and family and vice versa. So we have temperance, things are pretty chill here, getting along. And then we have, remember, that Knight of Pentacles reverse, which I think is very interesting. I kind of feel like it's the negative energy coming from another person, someone who's too selfish, someone who's too inconsistent, someone who doesn't come through. And it can mean a little bit of stubbornness, especially since Pentacles are very slow. Someone who's not, because you're fire, and fire can be very quick. So your patience with a particular person, especially in a relationship issue, might be running pretty thin right here. But then we have a high priest. We seem to have some type of resolution. We seem to have an agreement. And I think that whenever I see the Justice card and the High Priest, it can definitely mean for some of you Sagittarians those legal issues that you're hashing out between you and the other person. But definitely the High Priest is more about getting it together, doing the right thing, getting your mind right, honoring your commitments, keeping your promises. Okay, establishing trust. Your yes or no column is looking very good here, especially if some of you have questions about romance. We have the Hermit here. And the Hermit is, sometimes it's needed, sometimes we need to be alone. Sometimes we need to reflect, especially seeing that you're having this very tumultuous beginning to the year. But then you have a Page of Swords where we're getting this process of thinking and decision making. Sometimes it can mean something, a delay, things slowing down, having to wait for something. But I feel that for you, Sagittarius, you're using this air with your energy of fire, and you're taking time to think things through. You're getting to the truth. You're checking every aspect of your life to make sure that you're where you need to be, and you're feeling you can trust the situation. So that's when we get here to that wonderful Ten of Cups, which is definitely a yes card. It's a yes that there will be some happiness, some joy, some renewal in your relationship. So if your love life has been pretty up and down through 2017, 2018 is definitely saying some good things are coming your way. Now this fifth column here, it's the unexpected, things that might be possible. Might. So very busy here with the Two of Pentacles, but then we run into some swords here. Five of Swords, a disagreement, an argument. Someone's feelings get hurt. And then that Three of Pentacles, that Three of Swords here, we all know that that's the card of heartbreak, disappointment. So a little bit of hurt feelings possible with someone that you love and someone that you trust. I think they might be growing pains for some of you. You know, sometimes people go into different paths. Sometimes people can't stay together. So as far as relationship issues, I'm seeing minor disagreements, you know, a little bit of hurt feelings. Someone does something they shouldn't have. I feel a lot of issues coming through with that Five of Swords here. You didn't know someone felt this way. They didn't know you felt this way. And it's always possible we say things we don't mean here. If we go to the sixth column, this is the things that you expect but may not happen. Keep in mind, you have two eights here. So you have a King of Pentacles, new job opportunities, financial security, but then we're dealing with a little bit of doubt, feeling that there are no options here, like what am I going to do, being pushed into a corner here. And then an Eight of Pentacles here. So we have an Eight of Swords between these pentacles here, financial security, some of you wanting a new job, which might be possible, but usually this is just saying it could be a possibility, but don't expect it 100%. But the good news is that when we get here to your seventh column here, what is sure to happen, and it's wonderful that you've got your Knight of Wands, Sagittarius, this is your significator, you're making it happen. So you got the Ten of Pentacles here, new job and prosperity and health and happiness and partnership. Then you go into a Knight of Wands, you're taking control over your life. Your energy is definitely coming through here. I don't think it's coincidence that your significator is here in this seventh column. And in the Chariot, you're moving forward. You've cleared a path. And I think that would make even a better thing for what I'm seeing here with these cards. Clearing a path. Okay? Not being held back by obstacles and old thinking and old issues and old grudges. You're moving through all of that. So I love the fact that this Ten of Pentacles is with your Knight of Wands and the Chariot. That makes an excellent combination for success for you, Sagittarius. So that was your reading. But I want to thank all of you for your support throughout the year. In all the previous years, I started doing these readings in 2015, and it's just been so rewarding. I want to thank you for your contributions and your donations. You know, my monthly readings will continue to be free. The yearly readings, this was just an opportunity to get, you know, a few more special readings in. This helps support my work here, and I would love doing these more often for free. But just keep in mind, I'll try to make as much time as possible for more readings right now. Financially, the donations help out. So if you purchase this video, you're watching this video, thank you so much. Every little bit helps. And it helps me with my other expenses so that I can continue bringing free videos to you throughout the year. So I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season and a wonderful new year. And I'll definitely be seeing you in 2018. So Sagittarius. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, seeing that your birthday is near the end of the year as well. Make it count. And I wish you love and light.